societal issues, women and children, and so much more. Now, it's crucial to approach these subjects with empathy and understanding. These issues often intertwine with societal norms and can lead to tough conversations. It is important to create a safe space for dialogue where individuals can share their experiences without fear or judgment. I am Jumai Manson. Join me every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on the program Inside Today on Global Television. Tradition versus transformation. Now, the weight of culture on women. Now, culture shapes identity, values, and community life, but it can also place heavy expectations on women. This discussion explores how traditional norms, beliefs, and customs influences women's role in society, from marriage, motherhood, and inheritance to career choices and leadership. While some traditions uplift and protect women, others limit their freedom and participation in public life. Today, women are challenging stereotypes, redefining cultural expectations, and finding a balance between preserving heritage and embracing progress. This will also feature perspectives from cultural leaders, gender advocates, and everyday women who are navigating this shift, highlighting stories of courage, conflict, and change in the journey from tradition to transformation. Hello and welcome to Inside Today. I am Jumai Manson. Today, I'll delve into traditions versus transformation, the weight of culture on a woman. I am being joined by Mrs. Bisong Esther, CEO, Militesha Montessori Academy. Stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. The program continues shortly. All right, you're welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Inside Today. And like I mentioned before, I am being joined by Mrs. Bisong Esther. She's the CEO, Militesha Montessori Academy. And we'll be talking about this very important, or will I say sensitive topic, traditions versus transformation, the weight of culture on a woman. And I said a lot when it comes to this particular issue. And I said, talking about tradition and transformation, I said culture, identity, values, community life. But, at the same time, it places heavy expectations on women. Now, it explores how traditional norms, beliefs, and cultures influence women's role in society, from marriage, motherhood, and inheritance to career choices, and of course, leadership. All right, thank you so much for joining me on the program today, Mrs. Esther Bisong. Thank you for being a part of the program today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. And of course, Ms. Esther Bisong, she is the CEO of Militesha Montessori Academy, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are. Now, talking about tradition and transformation. Now, how do traditional culture values shape the role and expectation of women in the society today?
All right. Looking at it quickly, traditional cultural values often define what is acceptable behavior for women,
Okay.
such as being the caregiver, homemakers, or supporters rather than leaders.
Okay.
These values influence women education, career paths, dress codes, and sometimes even their participation in community decisions.
Really?
In some society, women are still expected to prioritize family over personal ambitions. So women are expected to just be homekeepers, supporters, but they don't want women to lead. They want want women to just be within the house, just to take care of the house.
Wow. So looking at that now, that's the cultural aspect now. Expect women to just be at home, take care of the home front, forgetting about their career choices, their career paths, they're not having that inclusion in society, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Interesting. Now, looking at this seriously now, in what ways have these traditions helped to preserve respect and identity for women within communities?
All right, ma'am. If I'm going to say, I will say that not all traditions are negative.
Very true.
Not all traditions are negative. Many cultural values honor women as life givers, nurturers, and moral anchors.
Oh,
Tradition can give women a strong sense of belonging, identity, and respect. For example, being seen as the heads of the home, custodians of culture, educators of children in moral values and language. Honestly, it has also helped. It's not all traditions that are negative. They are helping us to build up our home, to be the heart of the home. We still have them, but we wish or we want to also be among what is happening in the community. But if I will tell you, the traditions are not negative. Not all of them are negative. We have the one that are helping us to build our children for the future. Because if you look at it very well, we still expect these children to grow up with morals, which we look at very well that women that are at home are supporting this culture.
now I know you are the CEO of a school, that you are the proprietress of a school. And when you mention educators, intertwine it with me. I want to know how women, mothers, educators, intertwine it. Let me understand what you mean by that.
All right. Giving the children the right education. You know that as a home builder, women are the home builder.
Yes, we are.
About the men. Men bring in the money, but we make use the money and we train the children. And if you look at it very well, if you see the children out there in the school, you don't need to look far. You have to look from the house. If you don't have a great home builder, it will affect the children. Because lion will either give birth to the cub, they won't give birth to kids. That is to say, it is what you are in the house, how you are able to raise your children. That is how the children will be. That is why sometimes men want the women to stay at home to just be a housewife. Because they know that when you're at home, you will not be thinking of another thing, your career, how to meet up with this business, how you're going to dress up, how you're going to get this. But you will be finding ways to build up your children, to give them the best education, the best moral, how to greet, all this courtesy that we see. They are what build up for the future. So if women are into career already, they might not be able to give their all to the children. That's what I mean by that.
Okay. Now let's talk about let's still on culture now. Now, when does culture become a barrier to women's progress and, of course, self-expression?
All right. On this aspect, culture becomes a barrier when tradition restricts women's freedom, education, leadership, or choices. Practices like early marriage, gender-based violence, or exclusion from leadership often hide under the excuse of cultural norms. When tradition limits a woman's potential or voice, it stops being a source of identity and becomes an obstacle. What do I mean by this is that sometimes the culture becomes a barrier when we are not allowed to follow what we're supposed to do. You can imagine marrying early, a woman married at the age of 17, no education, no freedom, you can't say your own, anything the husband said either is right or is wrong is what she follows. So this sometimes brings barrier to women's progress. We cannot express ourselves because if you cannot speak well, and let me not say something. There was a time that we have a woman that cannot lead well. She's sitting on a leadership position, but she cannot express herself well because she has not been given the opportunity to move further, to go further, to follow her career, to follow her ambition, because maybe early marriage has affected this. Or sometimes you know that our men sometimes in the days of then, they will tell you that a woman will end up in the kitchen, that a woman's education end up in the kitchen. Women's education end up in the kitchen, and because of that, they don't train the girls. They don't empower the girls because they know that at the end of the day, everything you do ends up in the kitchen. But today, it is not like that.
Yes.
Women need to be seen, women need to be heard, women need to be feel.
And women need to be impacted despite cultural. Exactly. But now you spoke about early marriage, which I have no problem with, because they say age is nothing but a number. You'll be surprised that a 17 or 18-year-old girl who is into marriage is mature, and she knows her right from her left because she's married to a partner that has that IQ of impacting knowledge and helping her to grow and become a woman of herself. There are some men like that actually support a woman. You train her up, you build her. So I don't think all men are the same when it comes to, they differ though, but there are some men who actually take out time to support that woman and ensure that she gets the best when it comes to education, ensures that she becomes a voice for herself despite being married and nurturing her. I think kudos to some of those men kudos to them.
It is not in all cases, ma.
Yes, very true, very true, very true.
In all cases. And again, at 18, at 17, if you start giving birth to kids or to babies that time, you are still a baby trying to raise babies. Do you know that I have a case of such thing in the school, whereby you see a mother at 21 or 22? Ma, tell me, that mother at 22, she's not mentally fit to raise a baby. Forget about the money aspect, forget about the educational aspect. We have different aspects when it comes to raising children.
Very true.
So that 21, 22 mental readiness is not there for babies. You see some mothers will come to school crying. You don't need to cry. Or to start exchanging words on phone with your husband because they are not ready. So we look at them as children giving birth to children.
Exactly.
So no matter how we want to look at it, maybe the husband are taking care of them, they are
understanding and giving them time to grow and understand what marriage is all about.
The aspect of raising children is not difficult.
Yeah. Very true. I think I agree with that. Now, I want to ask another question on restrictive traditions. Now, how can women challenge these restrictive traditions without being seen as rejecting their culture, their norm, their moral, their values?
All right, ma'am. Women can approach it through dialogue and example rather than confrontation.
True.
By showing that empowerment doesn't mean abandoning values.
Exactly.
Rather living them in modern ways. Women can shift mindset. For example, a woman leader can still honor elder and cultural ceremony, shows that strength and respect can coexist. What am I trying to say? Women, they can change the narrative. It's not by confronting them, not by fighting it, not by rejecting it, but by showing example that this thing, they are normal, they are known. They are things who can be leader and still honor you and still respect you. One thing that men want, they want care and respect. Those two things are very important. No matter how rich you are as women, no matter how powerful your capacity as women, you must still be able to honor the man under your care. You must still be able to honor men in the society.
Respect him.
Sometimes when we have the power, when we have the money, when we have the education, we must still show example that yes, the man is still leading. But we will show it with making sure that they are able to see from the point of our own view. Not that we are confronting them, I'm a woman, I'm this, we can...
Exactly.
We should not...
And you know what, Miss Esther, I think one of the problems why some men actually beg to differ and they still hold on to tradition even when there is a transformation in the woman's life, because they feel women, you know how we are, are as women. Yes. Sometimes we allow pride to set in.
Just step in.
Sometimes we allow what we have attained in life and we forget that we have dual roles to play as women.
Yes.
For as much as you as a woman, you are educated, you have it all, you have a man who is, in my belief, he is the head of the family. You must respect. It's verse of this. But as a woman, the Holy Book says, women be submissive to your husband.
Slave
It
to
doesn't
your
mean
husband,
that
yes.
it doesn't mean that you are a slave to him. You give him
Yes.
his ample respect. You
Yes.
balance the two, being a working
the
class
two.
and still remembering that as an African, we have norms, we have traditions, we have values,
yes.
we have beliefs.
Culture.
We are accountable to all of that. You see, sometimes when I always say, when they talk about being feminine, and all of that, what do people really understand by it? I think we should learn to balance. You can still be feminine, to still air your voice, but in a subtle manner.
In a subtle way, yes.
And I tell people that the only way you can get your message across is when you are calm. Because
Yes.
both individuals, the man might be all high there, he might be angry and you're angry, and do you think he's going to listen to you? He's not going to listen to you. One person has to be the bigger person to reduce her voice, and you can
Yes.
get whatever you want once you are calm, you are submissive. In fact, that man, once he sees that you understand tradition and values and there's a transformation of greatness in your life, he understands that, oh my goodness, she doesn't forget the fact that I am the head of the home. I am
Yes.
the provider. Even if her money is much more than mine, she understands that
Yes.
she looks up to me and she allows the children give me that particular respect. I think as women, sometimes we forget and we get ahead of ourselves, really. I think we do,
Yes.
but I think we need to learn and
We
try
need
so
to
hard to
just
balance the
check
two.
that out, yes.
Very important,
And that's
yes.
why some men don't want some women to progress, because
Or to work,
if they
yes.
higher than them, there will be problem in the house.
Very true. So let's quickly go on a very quick break, and then when we come back on the program Insight Today, we're talking about tradition and of course transformation. It's very important that we understand that, and I am not doing it alone. I have Mrs. Esther Bisong here with me. She's the CEO of Militesha Montessori Academy, and of course we're looking at this very important topic. And for women will be wondering, Jumai, yes, it's a topic that we should talk about, talking about this when it comes to tradition versus transformation, the weight of culture on women. Do not go anywhere. Insight Today continues shortly. Stay. All right, you're welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Insight Today on Global Television, talking about tradition versus transformation. Still remembering that we have values, we have culture, we have norms, we have beliefs, when it comes to our tradition. And at the same time, as a woman, that transformation that takes place when you become educated, when you are the CEO or the chairperson of an organization, when you are a banker, you can balance a white collar job with what you do, balancing all as a woman. But at the same time, the weight on which culture plays on the woman, that's that stereotype that that it gives, that shapes identity, values, and of course community life. And if you're just joining in, that's the topic. And like I mentioned, I am not doing it alone. I have Miss Esther Bisong. She is here with me virtually, and she's the CEO of Militesha Montessori Academy. And of course, Ms. Esther, thank you so much for being a part of Insight Today and
Thank
about
you so
this
much,
time.
Ma. Thank you for having me.
All right, and still looking at this very important topic, let us talk about how has modernization and education influenced women's perception of traditional gender roles?
All right, ma'am. Looking at this question, education and exposure to global ideas have encouraged many women to question traditional limitations. Modernization has opened access to technology, information, and jobs that broaden women's horizon. So this doesn't always mean rejecting tradition, but rather reinterpreting it to fit new realities.
Exactly.
So with education now, it has given us so much exposure. Look at technology. We have lots of things that has exposed the women to see so many things. We are not trying to reject the tradition, the culture, but we're trying to reinterpret it to fit into reality, to new realities. My pain somewhat sometimes is on the Gen Z, that's the girls. The way they've taken it, if we don't stand our ground to, they too, they might go out of the tradition completely. But if there are women that are able to interpret this thing to them in a way that is going to fit, I think we are good to go. Technology has helped us to realize so many things. There are so many jobs, opportunities, so many modernization has come up. It has opened our eyes to see things. And as women, if we are on ground, we can still work with this. We can still make the society a brighter place to stay with our voice, coming up with our own. But if we don't take it as in with wisdom, with strongness in us, we might go against the tradition. But education has exposed a lot of things. There are so many ideas that women can question now. We can say, okay, what if this are done this way? There are so many things that we're doing for women before, but now, because of the education, because of technology, women now know things, they know their rights, this is what we need to do. But they can't stand up and fight the right and say, yes, this is how it's supposed to be. But with wisdom, we can get into it and we can reinterpret everything to fit into the new realities.
I like how interpreting everything to fit into the new realities. Now let's talk about, can culture and women's empowerment coexist, or one must give way for the other?
Yes, they can absolutely coexist. Culture is not static at all.
At all.
When women are empowered, they bring new energy and wisdom that can make culture stronger and more inclusive. Empowerment doesn't destroy tradition, it's refining it for a new generation. That's just it, man.
Very
so
interesting.
We can coexist. Culture is not static. It's things that we can just, the more we know, the more things we bring into. So we can, the two can go
hand in hand.
Yes, it can go hand in hand. Yes, it can just go hand in. Empower doesn't destroy tradition at all. If women are being empowered, it does not destroy tradition at all.
At all,
it doesn't. It's it for a new generation. Then the new generation comes, they build on it, and that is how we move.
Now let's talk about communities and successfully transforming harmful practices. Now, what examples exist of communities successfully transforming harmful practices while keeping that cultural pride intact?
All right. Example includes, let's look at Kenya now. Some communities have replaced female genital cutting ceremony with alternative rite of passage that celebrates girls' maturity without harm. You know, there was a time they used to cut something from the women's part. I can't remember. In Nigeria too, we do stuff like that, but I think they've stopped too.
Yes, we've stopped
some villages have reinterpreted dowry tradition to emphasize on education. In India, they don't do it again. The girls just have to go to school. A mutual respect instead of money. This shows that transformation is possible while maintaining cultural pride. There are things that we need to check out, like Indians now. They are not collecting a traditional dowry. You need to pay for this. They look at the girls must go to school. They use it for education. That's in India. So there are things we can come up with that. It will show that community to want transformation without any practices like that. We're not doing it again in Nigeria. I think it's what do they call this? That they caught in ladies too, in girls too. But they no longer do it now again in Nigeria too. I don't think we still practice such thing.
Yeah, but it's not as pronounced as how it was back in the day.
Yes. Yes.
Now, the last question before I let you go, Mrs. Bisong, what steps can government and advocacy groups take to ensure that cultural transformation includes women's voices and leadership? Very important when it comes to women-owned businesses, women being at the front runner. When there are men, it should be equal. You know, it shouldn't be 100% men. It should be at least 50% women, 50% men. Women, their voices should be heard. They should be placed in managerial positions and all of that.
Yes, ma'am. There are laws. Like I'm going to tell you, number one is to create awareness campaign that respects cultural values while promoting equality. That's one of the things they can do. But you know, the country where we are, they need to do something about creating awareness that we too we can be heard.
Our
You can't deny
voices.
women in policy making and traditional councils. Yes.
Because
You can see
in a way,
women
I feel women, we are underrepresented. We're not being represented in the light in which we should be. Because women, we have a lot to
yes.
offer.
Yeah,
When
but
you
it's not. Yes, it's not. That's what you see that men don't want to hear. They will tell you that, what do you know? What can you bring? But there are lots that we
exactly.
can bring to the table.
Well,
There are lots. Even in the houses, you hear men say, no, you don't know anything. The women, when they get there, they put. That's not true.
they feel we belong in the
Is that
kitchen. We should.
you can support grassroots women's groups that engage in cultural education and reform. Yes, they can support grassroots. The women can be empowered. Women can do lots. We have lots. So there are ideas there. But because they've just segregated us aside and said, you cannot do it, then some of us are relaxed.
We are the weaker. We are the weaker ones.
Or they are giving. Ma?
They feel we are the weaker ones. Women are weak.
Yes.
They should go and sit down.
Yes, they believe that.
But we're not weak. We're very strong.
But that's not true.
But you know what? I think with the right support, men supporting and giving us that, rooting for us, giving us that encouragement, I think we have a lot to offer women.
We have a lot, yes.
We have a lot to offer. This topic, traditions versus transformation, the weight of culture on a woman. Of course, there is a lot of weight on our shoulders. There are lots of things we cannot do because of culture, but I feel there is a balance to it. Thank you so much, Mrs. Bisong Esther, for being a part of Insight today. I'm so grateful. Thank you for contributing. It's very important. I am so grateful that you made out time to be here and being an educator, talking about most of your programs in which you are there's one that caught my eye. I wanted to talk about it briefly. There's one that said international educators. What was that all about, really? Quickly now.
That's intentional.
Intentional. Sorry, intentional educators.
Intentional. Intentional. That's the commitment you have. That's how you've taken the job. For us to be able to teach children, we must be very, very intentional. Because
exactly.
In the field of education, people have looked down on teachers. So if you are not intentional, you cannot be in the classroom. I do tell teachers that wherever you are, whatever you are doing, be very, very intentional about it.
Very important.
Your teaching, the way you teach, the way you talk to the children, because those things sticks to their head. Sometimes most of those children at home, they trust their teachers even more than their parents.
Okay.
Because of the way you've handled them. So as teachers, we encourage teachers to be intentional about what they are doing, intentional in your dressing, the way you speak, the way you come out, the way you speak about the children, the way you speak about parents in your school. You must be very, very intentional.
All right. Well, best of luck. The Wonder Light Academy, which presents, of course, mid-of-term refreshers course, intentional educators.
We just finished.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the program Insight today, talking about traditions versus transformation, the weight of culture on a woman. Thank you so much, Mrs. Bisong Esther. She is the CEO, Militesha Montessori Academy. Thank you so much for being a part of the program and giving us that wheel of knowledge when it comes to this particular issue that cracks me up so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome, ma'am.
Now, as society, as society evolves, culture must also grow to reflect values of equality, dignity, and respect for all. Now, traditions should not be chains that confirm women, but roots that ground them in identity and purpose. The real strength of any culture lies in its ability to adapt while preserving what uplifts and unites. Empowering women does not mean abandoning tradition. No, it does not. It means transforming it to embrace inclusion, fairness, and shared progress. When women rise, communities thrive, and culture itself becomes richer and more resilient. Thank you all so much for being a part of Insight today. And to my amazing guest, Mrs. Bisong Esther, thank you so much for being a part of the program. And of course, she is the CEO, Militesha Montessori Academy. I am Jumai Manson. Have an amazing day ahead. Bye-bye.